Hi guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome back to Things They Don't Tell You podcast. Today we have a very special guest, comedian Jordan Barker. So obviously we'll be talking about comedy today. And Jordan Barker is 16 years old. She is a professional comedian and has been for 8 years. That is unbelievable. Okay, so she has traveled, she has opened businesses, she has just done everything, all as a school student because she's about to graduate high school early, I might add. So she's just an all-around phenom, so it is an honor and a privilege to have her on my podcast. Okay, so I am your host. I forgot I'm just so excited. I forgot to introduce myself. I am your host, Lisa DeVos, aka Lisa Barker, aka Lisa Ann Barker, not to be confused with the aforementioned in the first podcast. This is comedian Jordan Barker, guys. Oh, the crowd goes wild. All right, tell them where they can find you, Jordan.
I'm on all social media accounts as the real Jordan Barker.
Barker with an R, I might add.
Not Baker, not Parker.
Yeah.
Not Paker. Backy.
Packer. Okay, you can find me at Lisa DeVos Barker on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, on all the things. Yes, and she's the real Jordan Barker. Okay, and I will also put that in the description box so that you can go. Oh, I want to add too that this beautiful episode is sponsored by none other than Ruby Beauty Cosmetics. Make sure you visit that website and get your makeup so that you can be your best self or at least look like it. I love that tagline. This is one of her companies actually. So thank you. It is rubybeautycosmetics.square.site. Make sure you put in my code Lisa, Lisa, for 15% off. All right, let's get into the topic for today. Things they don't tell you about being a comedian. And I have a bunch of questions, burning questions for this girl right here. My first question is, are you ready? Yes. Drum roll. Okay, I want to get into the backstory really quick. Did you always know that you wanted to do comedy?
No. I did not know.
That was easy.
I did not know what comedy was until I was 8 years old.
Wow. Yeah. Like you didn't ever even see comedians on TV?
I had seen
or you
comedians, but I didn't know that's what it was. They were like, do you want to do comedy? And I was like, you want to do what? Like, like the dude that stood on the stage and like told the joke. And I was like, oh, that's what that's called. I thought it was just like a movie.
But you were 9 years old. Yeah. So that's perfectly understandable.
I was 8 when I first.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was 9 when I did the first show.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, that's true because the show was a little while after. Okay, so if y'all remembered on the last episode, I talked about how I went through a training to become a model. She also went through this training to do acting and modeling. And
I wanted to be a high fashion model, but I was too short because I was 8. And so they were like, you're really funny. You should try comedy. And I was like, what? So they're like, just go home and write a minute worth of material and try it out. So I went home, I wrote a minute worth of material, and then I got accepted to go perform with the big
stuff. At the big conference thing where we perform in front of agents and
managers.
Yes, all like everybody
scouts, anybody.
Yeah. Anybody who's looking to sign people like on the spot.
Yeah.
And she did not tell you that she literally won the whole thing. I was so jealous. I'm like,
We thought it was going to be a kids comedy competition, but it ended up being full adult competition.
She was up against everybody.
I was the first child they'd ever had in the thing or something.
Yeah.
And I won against all 40 adults and then got a bunch of awards.
It was so cool because she was like on TV. It was very, very cool. But the thing is, it was a little upsetting because you wanted to do modeling.
It was.
And I didn't care about modeling, and that's what they signed me for. It was like, it was weird because it was like we went there for one thing and like totally found this other thing about ourselves that we didn't know we could do.
And then like whenever I was on stage doing that show, I just knew that was what I was supposed to make people laugh. So that's why.
You just knew, like you just had a
moment. A moment of gosh. And I just was like, okay, I'm going to make people laugh. And so then I started just doing open mics and bars.
Oh my gosh. I remember this time. Y'all, okay. So there were a few times where these ladies would pull her to the side and be like, blink once if your mom is making you do this. And we're like, no, she's dragging us all around these bars and stuff, trying to get her material because when you're a comedian,
you have to just do it as often as you can to like learn the crowd and how to like play off the room and all kinds of stuff. And so I would just, my mom would call bars while I was at school. Be like, hey, she's 9, can I bring her in? They'd be like, I don't care. And after school, I'd grab a pair of pajamas and a pillow. We'd hop in the car. I'd do my show, put on my PJs, grab a pillow, sleep in the car all the way home. We'd go home at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I did that for like 2 years.
Oh my
while
God.
Still doing school.
On the road.
And was making better grades than everyone else in school. I was like, I don't think I'm better than you. I know I'm better than you.
It's proven fact. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we discussed how you became a comedian. Have you ever had a heckler?
Yes.
This is something I want to know about, because with comedians obviously there's going to be hecklers all the time, but I've never understood how you handle them. Tell us about it.
Don't. I am the kind of person that if you heckle me, I panic.
Really?
I'm like, don't talk to him. Don't be confrontational. And so like, my first heckler ever, I was doing a show and this guy started like laughing, but like rudely, like to just take
like
up
obnoxious?
more time. Yeah, like ha ha ha, just like take up more time because he was jealous because I was way better comedian.
Oh, because when you're a comedian, you're on a time.
Yeah, especially I was at an improv that night, and so the time limit is very strict, and they will get up there and pull you off the stage.
Oh my God!
So I only had like, I don't know, like 1 minute, 3 minutes, something, and I didn't even get to tell my last joke, and I got off stage, and my mom was like, "You didn't tell that joke," and I was like, "Yeah, I know that dude." And then once at a bar, there was a guy that was so drunk, he was heckling everyone, and I ignored him, and then another comedian got up there, tore him a new one. And he didn't say another word all night.
Oh, I wish he'd have gone on before you. I don't remember I remember you having one heckler that laughed a lot, but I didn't know that it affected you like that.
No, I just would like, even my last show, I told a joke, and someone, okay, what happened was I told a joke, and I totally messed up the joke, and so I bombed, and then this chick said something and made the whole crowd laugh, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give that to you, because they were all not laughing, and I was just like, I needed a laugh right then, so I let her do it, but then the comedian that came on after me also got on her. Like, thank you guys for always protecting me. Like, I'm so young.
So how is it with other comedians? Is it like a competition, or do they like love you or hate you?
If
like, how does
they're
it go?
a Christian comedian, usually we don't get along. If they're a secular comedian, I usually get along with them. It's so, like,
juicy dirt. Tell us more.
Sometimes. So a lot of Christian comedians, they either absolutely love me. Like, there were several guys that, like, took me on tour with them and all this
names, drop names.
Leon Brooks did for a while.
Okay.
Baritone did for a while. Some stuff happened. Sherry and Richard really love me. Sherry and Richard Bright.
Okay.
But then there have been other comedians that, like, hated me in the Christian comedy world. Like,
name drop. No, I'm just kidding.
But they, like, did some stuff that, like, caused me to, like, lose some opportunities. And so... But then the secular comedians, like, usually they would, like, steal my joke. They're usually just drunk, so they don't know what they're doing.
And nice to everyone.
A lot of them would, like, ask for my autograph or, like, pictures. Some of them, I made a lot of secular comedians cry. It's kind of sad. Like, because I would get there and tell my jokes, and this dude's been doing comedy for, like, 20 years, gets up there and doesn't get any laughs. And he's like... This 9-year-old been doing it for 2 months, got more laughs, and they would just, like, be bawling, and it was super sad.
Oh, that is such an awkward thing to do to a child.
I'm sitting in a bar, some dude has brought me this drink, and then this dude's over there bawling, and I'm like...
Oh my gosh. So how did you handle, like, the pressure of being on stage at such a young age?
I was on stage the first time when I was 2 months old.
Oh.
So I just kind of always grew up on stage. There have been times that I was nervous. Those were usually when I did shows with big comedians that I, like, really revered or something, and so I would be nervous.
Name drop.
Chris Porter.
Okay. This is the Ttdty podcast.
I was so scared for that show. Couldn't even stand up. I was so nervous. But that's just because I was meeting Chris
You just
Porter.
really liked him a lot.
Yeah. Like, my legs were literally shaking, and, like, I started speaking French. It was, like, a deal. But,
oh my gosh.
I forgot what I was saying.
Chris Porter, you said that you, we were talking about if you get nervous.
Yeah. So a lot of people always ask me, like, do you get nervous? Do you get nervous? And it's like, sometimes I get, like, excited nervous, but, like, never, like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it. Mainly, I think that might be my mom, because she's like, I drove you 3 hours to get up here. You get nervous.
Oh, the friendship.
Like, if I didn't get on that stage, like, I was the one taking them there. So, like, obviously I had to go. I couldn't try to get them all the way there and then be like, I don't want to do this tonight.
She'd be like, I ain't taking you no more.
Yeah. So if I wanted to do it, I had to do it. And so you just gotta, like, once you do it, you feel amazing. And then you get a rush and everyone's like, oh my gosh, she's so good.
The adrenaline.
Like, yeah. You know, I'm so funny.
So it's like before you get on stage and after is like night and day?
Yes. Like before you're like, your heart's racing and you're like, ooh. And then after you finish, you're just like.
So what kind of feeling is it like when you get that first laugh of like your set? Like you're saying your stuff and like they laugh for the first time.
It's normal. I don't know.
I've never not gotten a laugh.
I always like whenever I tell a joke that I really enjoy telling, and then it gets a big laugh. Because sometimes I have jokes that sometimes I have jokes that are just old, you know. But like I know the punchlines, so, like, and then I get an okay chuckle, you know. But sometimes I tell a joke and like it gets a huge laugh. And I'm just like, yeah, I did that.
I changed your life, yes, me. Okay, so what's the biggest show you've ever done, and what's the smallest show you've ever done?
Okay,
you can answer it.
I'm gonna start with the smallest. Okay, so I had not done comedy in a little while, and at this point I had decided I didn't want to do bar comedy anymore because the pressure and the stress and then the crying people and then the hecklers, like it was a deal. And like when you're not 10 years old in a bar full of like all those things, it's very hard. So I hadn't done like secular comedy in a while, so my mom found this church that was doing an open mic. But it was not an open mic. It was all the old people in the church getting together to sing karaoke. No. There were like 12 people there, and they were all really old people that...
Do really old people not get your jokes?
They get them, but like, especially, okay, not to be like racist. White people in church will not laugh. At all. They think it's so wrong. Black people in church will laugh hysterically. I love doing black church comedy so much.
They're so supportive.
No, they laugh even if it's not funny. And it's like a loud, boisterous laugh until you're like, oh yeah, I'm doing great. But if you're in a white church, you're just like,
oh my god, I'm about to jump.
Every single time. And so it's like 10 old white people, and all my jokes are about my parents being old. And so I'm telling these jokes.
They feel attacked.
I'm like, my mom uses Fix-It. And they're like, that's so rude.
Oh my god.
And so that was like my
like she's joke. Like a wild child or something, like they see you as...
Yeah. Oh, and then I had also bombed that show. I had tried to do this other thing, and it like failed, and I forgot my jokes halfway through it, and I was just like... And my biggest show is... I've got several. So the one at AMTC had several thousand people there.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that.
Lakewood. I performed at Lakewood, if you didn't know. Whenever I was Smiley. Anyways, that was a relatively big show. I did a performance at CCA, the Christian Comedy Association. I feel like that was televised. I'm not entirely sure.
It looked like it was televised. It's on YouTube. You can find it. If you Google comedian Jordan Barker, you'll find like her doing stand up.
Yeah,
she has lots of videos on there.
The Christian Comedy Association is like a yearly gathering of all the Christian comedians across the nation or the world. Some people.
I want to say you had a show where you travel. You had to like get on a plane and go.
Yeah, that was. I had a show in Nebraska where they like called me and were like,
Nebraska.
Hey,
that's what it was.
Will you go to the airport, hop on this plane, stay in this free hotel, pay a bunch of money? I was like, definitely. So that was like my biggest financially, I think. But the room only had like 100 people in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't know that it was a smaller show.
It was
cool
because it was like right when COVID started.
So is that like if you did those shows all the time, would you do comedy full time? Yes. Like if you booked one of those every week? Oh my god. That was fun?
Yes.
What was the best thing about being a traveling comedian? Just the money?
Not just the money. There was like free stuff, and I got to sightsee, and I got to meet people from like up there, and they were actually so when you're from the South, you always hear people from the North are like so rude, and like especially from states that are cold, like you always just hear that states that are cold have rude,
like aggressive or something.
Yeah, because they're like you just feel like they're cold, so they're just mean. So they're like, we're going to Nebraska, and I'm picturing a bunch of like mean people, and then people were actually nice to me, and I was like, oh, this is so nice, and so I actually really liked that show. And then I ate at this restaurant. It was called, I believe, Mr. Pickle.
Mr. Pickle.
It was so good. It was like Subway, but it was so good. I had it was like a mix between a Pizza Hot Pocket and a Subway sub.
Oh my god.
So good.
I've never heard of a restaurant called Mr. Pickle.
It was so good.
Oh, okay. So I have another question. What has been your favorite show?
Chris Porter.
Chris Porter?
So
even though you were that nervous?
Yes, because I got to meet Chris Porter. So what happened was I had started comedy okay, when I was 8 years old, they told me I should be a comedian. When I was 9 years old, I did my first show in July. In October of that year, my birthday's in October, so I was about to be 10. My favorite comedian in the world, Chris Porter, was coming to Texas. And so my mom found that out, and she's like calling the improv, like, hey, because improvs do not let you in if you're a minor. That is like very, very strict. I've been in 3, so.
Rule breaker.
So, my mom calls the improv, and she's like, hey, okay, what? Back up a little bit. I loved Chris Porter like a lot. So whenever I first got into comedy, I was like, he cusses a lot. So I was like, I'm going to tell some of his jokes clean, and then I'm going to record myself doing it like he does it. And then I'll put that on YouTube and tag him in it. And so I did it, and he saw it and reposted it on all his stuff and was like, this girl's hilarious. You guys should check her out. And he's like watching all my videos and liking.
Is that still on the internet?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
It's me, and I'm wearing like a yellow and white striped shirt.
That is so
and
funny.
I'm in front of like my laundry room, like with a mic, like Jordan.
Pro tip,
like,
if you want to be a comedian, perform somebody else's material and be a cute little child and be funny.
So my mom like takes a camera and films because I couldn't like hold a camera and do it myself. And I post it. Well, then they called the improv and they're like, hey, just talk to Chris about it. And he's like, that girl, she's hilarious. Definitely she can come. But he saw my other stuff, so he knew I was a comedian. So I get to the show, and okay, in the special, my favorite one, Ugly and Angry, he has like this afro thing that's like bald in the middle. And I didn't think he was that tall. So we're sitting there, and this really tall dude with like actual normal person hair walks up to the table, and he's like, hey, do you know who I am? And my first thought is, our waiter, like...
Oh, no, you didn't recognize him? She wanted him to be ugly.
And I was like, you're Chris Porter. And he's
my God.
He's like, yeah, do you want to open for me? And I was like, yes. So he like, me and my sister, we went back to the green room, and we're chilling, and okay.
Oh no. Okay, we're about to get down to the
My sister had to leave for a minute, and I'm in this room, and I'm like mesmerized because like this is my first time meeting like a famous person, and it was like you know when you meet your like celebrity idol, like I was ecstatic, you know, so I'm like staring at him like a serial killer. And he's so uncomfortable. He's just trying to make small talk, you know, because there's this weird serial killer 10-year-old sitting here. So he's like, hey, do you like basketball? Because that's what he's watching. And I forget English. Because I was going to say kinda, because I don't actually like basketball. But I
you
was
want to
like,
be cool?
I was like, yeah, per se. And he's like,
how old were you?
I was like 9.
Oh my God.
And he's like, okay. And did not talk to me ever again. I didn't talk to me again. But like we were silent in that room, and I'm just like. And then he like gets up, and I have to like go to the thing because he's going to the bathroom, and like my legs are shaking. I'm leaning on a wall because I'm like about to fall. And I get up there, and like as I'm telling my jokes, I see him in the back of the room, and he's laughing, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
The nerves all over again.
I'm like, Chris Porter laugh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And then I got to meet him again. I got to do another show with him.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So
you made up for the first day.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But he like gave me his vinyl, and he like signed it, and he was like, stay smart, Chris. And it's framed on my wall. I look at it every day. It's above my nail polish. It's like
oh my God.
all the things I love.
I was about to say, no, show them your nails. Oh my gosh. She does her nails so well, you guys. You should follow her on Insta.
Yes. Girl Jordan Market.
Okay, so what is something that surprised you about comedy? You think of anything?
I don't know.
It was all a surprise because you didn't know?
Yeah, because like I had no idea what I was getting into. And so like my first show ever, I was at this like AMTC, and we're just like all performers, you know, we're in this thing. And then probably whenever you win at AMTC, there's like a winner's show. Yeah. So like then everybody in the conference, because we're doing several things at the same time, like comedy and dance and singing and modeling, all happening at the same time. So not everyone can be at everything. So when you win, you go to this big thing that everyone shows up to. And while I was out there, I had this like moment with God, like we said, and I could tell I was helping people. And I guess when I was that young, I didn't realize people were hurting that bad. And when God was showing me how bad people were hurting and these issues they were having, it was like, oh my gosh, this is like a real thing. And then like going into bars and stuff and seeing hurting people every night, like crying.
I wonder if that's what it was
see, like,
back then.
you can see like the people up there that like don't have any shoes or like
Wow.
all this, and they're trying to be comedians because they're trying to do something, but they're just not funny and they're not getting a laugh, and they're having to be raunchy because that's the only thing they can come up with that's funny, and they're having to do all these things, and they're just drinking their problems away and drugs and all these things. It was just like surprising to see how hurting they were, because I grew up very sheltered, like pastor's kid in church all the time, so I just always knew love, and then I got out there and it was like, oh God, that's not what the world has.
That's why I remember the looks we used to get, because at the beginning I would travel with you guys.
Yeah.
I remember the looks we used to get when people found out you were performing at bars and stuff. How did you handle like the judgment and like the stares and the questions from like church people that you were doing this thing outside of church?
Well, I was like 9, and I guess I didn't really notice that until we went to the Christian Comedy Association, and all these comedians are full-blown Christian comedians. They only perform in churches and stuff, but like there are no open mics in churches. None.
That's true.
And so, like, if you're trying to get better at your comedy, these people wouldn't have good sets, and they have, like, we have nowhere to go. And they're like, where do you gotta do it? And I'm like, Molly's Pub. I don't know. Hank's Bar down the street.
Yeah.
And they're like,
you have to work out the joke.
yeah, because if your joke isn't worked out, it's not gonna be funny. And, like, there are some people, like Robert G. Lee, who, like, you can tell him a joke, and he will, like, boom, fixed it. It's amazing, hilarious. Whole room will be laughing. But some people, you have to, like, test out the joke, and you have to try it, because the crowd's going to laugh at some stuff, and some crowds aren't going to laugh at that. And so, I guess when I went to the Christian Comedy Association, and I was, like, telling all those people, I go to bars all the time, and they're like, you're 9, why are you doing that? And I'm like, it's fun.
Okay, so this is a question I have, and then I'm going to ask you a question that your brother has. Okay, so my question is, is there a certain level of frustration or annoyance, like being a comedian? Like anytime you talk to somebody, you feel like you have to make them laugh or else you're not funny? Like, do you have that feeling? Like, I feel like if I was a comedian, I would feel pressure to like make people laugh in my everyday life. Do you have that?
I don't really feel the pressure, because a lot of times people I hang out with, I do make laugh a lot.
Okay.
Like the kids at school, we just have this really good like banter, so we always laughing and stuff. But I do hate it when people walk up and they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm a comedian. They're like, oh, tell me a joke.
Oh, no.
No. I will not.
That's how it is when you're a singer, too.
No, because if I was a carpenter and walked up and he was like, I'm Carpenter Bill, you wouldn't be like, make me a table.
Yeah.
Like, it's just because this is my word. And then, like, because if I tell it to you and you're not ready to laugh and you're not in a laugh, like, because if you go to a comedy
they're usually
club,
like, tell me
you're ready to laugh. You're ready to have fun,
down.
you know? But if you're like, tell me a joke, you're like, are you even funny? And then I'm going to tell you a joke, and you're going to be like, whatever. Like, you don't think it's funny because you're not ready to laugh. And then I'm going to lose someone. Last time someone said that to me, actually, was in Nebraska at Mr. Pickle. And I was totally like, you should have come to my show. And him and every worker busted out laughing. And I got a bigger laugh from telling him no than actually telling him a joke.
Oh my
and
gosh.
So I hate it when people ask me to tell them a joke.
Oh, that's like,
I'm like,
the
why don't you look
thing
me up on YouTube?
I feel like maybe that's a common problem with all comedians, probably.
Yeah.
Tell me a joke.
Because also, like, that's our livelihood. Also, so like if we just tell our entire set for free, that's like I can't post my entire set. I can't post my entire set on YouTube, because then why would you go to my show? You've seen my show 1,000 times.
So you're so limited. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't think about this. So like your social media is even inhibited because you can't post a joke until it's old and you're not going to use it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh my
gosh. Comedians, whenever like they do a special, that is the last time they tell that set.
This is some juicy secrets,
usually,
guys.
Some comedians tell the same set. But, like, a lot of times, like, once a comedian writes a set, they immediately start writing another one. Once they have their second set complete, they record the first one. Then they go to telling the second one. Then they tell the second one. And they can add some of those jokes, you know, throughout. But then once they start writing another set, and then they
That's how we have specials.
Yes, and that's why, like, comedians like Sebastian Maniscalco come out with a new special, like, every year or 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Or,
he's
like,
writing stuff all the time.
Yeah, or, like when we went to see Chris Porter, his set was completely different than the set we had seen recorded. And he has several specials out now. So
you get a set, you travel it, you tell it to everybody you possibly can, then you record it, and then sell it to everybody you possibly can.
Yes.
While you're performing a new set.
Yes.
And it's like this never ending.
Yes. That's why like people like Seinfeld and stuff have a ton
team.
of specials. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've been telling comedy for years. And
That's
some
so
comedians do the same set, but then, like, once you see them live, you've heard this set 5 times. And they have 5 specials, and it's the same jokes. And so they're not as funny, in my opinion.
Is that when you think they just don't want to write new stuff?
I think that...
Is that what happens?
I think that they just get laughs on those things, and so they just stick with it. But I think they would get more laughs if they would ever write a new joke. And sometimes people cannot write jokes.
Write a new joke.
There are people with comedic timing, and there are people who are funny. And so sometimes people with comedic timing can get funny people to write them stuff because they aren't funny. They just have good timing. Gotcha. I have both because I'm blessed. But the thing is, I've met people before that had good timing and they could not tell a joke, or they were funny and had no timing. And
because being funny in everyday life does not translate on stage funny.
Gotcha. Definitely.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I have this question, this burning question. Okay, so I am married to her brother, if y'all did not know. She is my sister-in-law. Her brother says, were you born with funny or was funny thrust upon you?
I was born
by the rib.
I think it's kind of hard to have funny thrust upon you unless something traumatic happens in your life.
Oh, that's a good point.
If something traumatic happens, then a lot of people become funny as like a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
But if you're born funny, you're just funny.
Because he feels like, okay, because they're 20 years apart, he feels like he thinks he's funny too, right?
Yes,
he thinks that the combination of her sister and her parents create this funny person because they're having to be sarcastic to keep up with their dad. Yeah. They're having to be witty to keep up, the digs on the sister. Yeah. They're having to, be aggressively funny, like for the mom because the mom likes to laugh. And it's just, he feels like they create this person. Also, when you grow up with that brother who's always punking you out, you gotta come up with some comebacks. Because Kelly is funny in a way, and Sam is funny in a I'm gonna destroy your life way. And so sometimes if she's destroying someone else's life, it's really funny. If it's mine, I'm crying. But, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. They're both so whenever you're growing up, and then when you grow up with parents who are in their 50s, you also get comedy because, when you're 2 years old and your favorite movie is Rambo, and your friends are all like, what's that? I watch Barbie. And I'm like, you stitch yourself up like he did in the movie. Which you can do that type of makeup, too. Yeah. Y'all, she can do everything. If there's something that you think she can do, yes, she can. This is another question I have. Okay, so whenever you were on stage, has anyone ever laughed at you instead of with you? And if so, how did it make you feel?
That one dude that lauged at my jokes just to take up my time, that was so frustrating. I was like, you're a grown man. I'm 9 years old. Get a life.
You're not bitter about it or anything. No.
I was just so frustrating. He was also a comedian and I felt bad because he bombed that night.
Oh, anyways, you think he was just a hater?
Yeah. All the haters. Oh, anyways. There have also been people that would laugh and then get on stage and tell my jokes. And in front of me, steal my joke. And
after you say it?
Yeah, because I had a bit on Mother Goose, and after I would tell my joke, someone would get up there and tell a joke about Humpty Dumpty.
Thinking they can do it better.
And it was never good, because they're just drunk. And you have to have a plan. You can't just get on stage and wing it. Unless there are a few people that could do that, improv.
That's their thing?
Yeah. But no, most people cannot. And so when you're getting up there making up a joke, it's not going to be that good, because you need to sit down, write it. I have to sit down, I have to write it out, I put them in an order, and then sometimes what happened was I hadn't done comedy in a long time, and I got this big show, so I had to practice.
That was going to be my next question. What's the difference between when you were performing as a kid and now that you're a teenager?
Oh, okay. Yeah. We can go to the question.
Yeah. That's the question.
So what had happened was, I had done comedy for a long time when I was really young, but then there was a time there where I was just I don't really want to do bars anymore, and then some stuff had happened, and I was going on tour kind of with this dude, but I only got one show a month, and and then there was a break period where I didn't get any shows, and so I hadn't been doing comedy for a long time, but I got this big show, so I had to practice on some stages. Well, I hadn't done comedy in a while. So I'm listening to the set.
Is this during COVID or was this?
This was right before COVID.
Oh, okay.
So I'm listening to the set, practicing, doing this, but I hadn't done it in so long. So I get to the show, hop on stage. The entire set was gone.
Oh,
and I'm up there, and I was just like, and I just started telling the first joke, and while I was telling that joke, another joke would pop in, and I was like, did I ever
having to get to the other one, like, organically?
Like, I was just having to make up transitions, because usually I used to have it so planned out, and I would get up there and be like, hello, my name is Jordan Barker. I'm 9 years old, and my parents are in their 50s.
Oh, that's like your opener. That's like your thing.
And that was like, I told the same monotone, I emphasized the same words, but that night, no. I did not know a thing.
And you remember how old you were? Like when this happened?
You were there.
Was it?
It was
Oh, that show!
Yeah.
Y'all, this was her best show ever.
So
that's the one where you forgot.
I got on stage and I forgot.
Okay, so you were like 14 probably.
Yeah,
13
or 14.
Yeah.
So I
didn't
did
realize that was
and
the
then
same
I was so nervous, like, because I was like, oh my gosh, I just bombed and forgot my entire set. I was supposed to go for 15 minutes. I went for 5. My heart was beating so fast.
Didn't I tell you that was like your best?
And then I got off stage and I was like, wow, you were so amazing. Like, everyone, going on and on. I was like, wow, geez. I don't know, like, Jordan, that was your best show you've ever done. Because, like, a bunch of people that have been with me, and I was like, really? I had no idea. And they were like, because it just seemed so natural, because you did not know what you were talking about. And so, anyways, I had another show, like, 2 weeks later before the next one. So I was like, I'm going to practice even harder because I will not forget. So I'm practicing. I get up there. And this is a room full of comedians that have been with me for a long time. And then, like, some other people. And I'm up there, and I'm, like, telling jokes.
I was at that one.
Yes, you were.
I was?
Mm-hmm. It was a Leon.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm telling the jokes, and I'm just like, don't know what I'm talking about. And I put the mic down, I get off stage, and the comedian coming on after me was like, I don't think I can go on now. And I was like, oh, I did that good? Like, geez, you've known me since I started. And he was like, wow, you did amazing. And,
I know what show you're talking about. Oh, yes. She really
and then I was like, maybe I should just not rehearse, because this seems to be working out. But then I did the big show. And, like, I always have to have my mom stand in the back with flashcards, because, like, if you don't go a certain amount of time, they do not pay you. And so,
my gosh, you didn't want...
She's in the back, and they were like, you go 15 minutes, and I'd sign contracts and stuff, so this was, like, in stone.
Man, I wish I could have seen that one.
And she's in the back, like, with a thing and a card, and it's so dark, I cannot see her. I'm just like, I pray to God I get to I did. I got to, like, 15:04 or something.
Nice.
I also did great at that show. So, after, I think...
So you think the trick is to, like, practice it, but hope that you forget it so that you
Well, I think that also, like, when I got older, when I was little, I got the jokes, but, like I would tell them, you know, but then, like, I wasn't thinking about the audience. I was just thinking the script, here's the line. But then when I was doing it, it's like, there's an audience. Like, you can interact.
Play off of their energy.
I can walk over here. Like, I used to stand in one spot and rotate my head. Every joke, every joke. It was like, Mom, he's 35 years old. Please. Like, every movement was so forced. And then I feel like once I, like, did the change,
it made you
and it was just like, oh.
Yeah.
They're just people. Like, and then I can look in the audience, and... It's always so funny, like, watch their reactions to certain jokes. Like it's just it's great to watch them now, like, because I can play off of them. And, like, if they are not laughing...
Is it, like, more satisfaction, like, while you're on stage, having that interaction?
Yeah. Wow. Probably.
I feel like it's so similar to, like, singing.
Yeah.
Like, you get that exchange of, like, energies or something. I don't know.
And, like, if a crowd isn't laughing, it's very hard.
Okay.
To, like, play off.
Is that that brings me to my next question. What's the most annoying thing about comedy?
if all white people in church, if they don't laugh,
don't come to a comedy show if you ain't gonna laugh.
Well, or I probably shouldn't go to karaoke night, you know? And they were all toned up. It was so sad.
Oh my gosh. You had to sit through their karaoke.
I got there at the beginning of karaoke, and I was the last one. And they all sang, like, 5 songs. There was one girl. She was pretty good. And they even stopped before me and ate.
Oh my god.
I was just sitting there, like...
Are you happy you had that experience, or you wish you would have never gone to that?
I am happy I had the experience.
Yeah.
Because
Okay. So
I learned a lot. I was trying to add this joke thing, and then it failed.
You glad you did it in front of them instead of somebody?
I'm glad I did it in front of 12 old people.
Wasted the...
Probably have dementia and forgot.
Oh, my God. Oh, okay. Y'all, this has been so fun. I don't know if you're having as much fun as I am, but I'm having a freaking blast. I want to introduce a segment for whenever I have guests. This is the Would You Rather segment. Yeah, we're going to end it on this. I want to thank Jordan for an amazing interview. That was so good. I learned some stuff I didn't know about her, and I've been around her for I don't know how many years now.
I was 3
Yeah.
when I was 3
4.
when
3 or 4.
I think I was 3 when we met, 4 when they got. I was 5 when we got married.
Yeah, you were 4. I think you were 4.
4.
Oh my gosh. It's just amazing to just hear stuff that I didn't even know about you. That was so cool. So I know y'all learned a lot because I learned something. Okay, so let's talk.
12 years.
I have been married for 10 years, but we were together for a year before that. Yeah. So 11 years.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like, wait.
Okay, so would you rather be the funniest person in a room or the smartest person in a room?
Funniest, because sometimes the smart side of me is a little uppity.
Oh, no.
And the funny part of me, and there is a certain amount of intelligence to funny.
Oh, so you would be smart and funny if you were the funniest person, you think?
I think it depends. I think funny people notice things smart people don't. Like about life. I think they're smart, like, about the world. Like, they notice things around them people don't.
Okay. Interesting. I never thought about that.
Noticeable people.
All right. So let's talk about this. Would you rather give up air conditioning and heating for the rest of your life or give up the internet for the rest of your life? This is TikTok generation, guys. So this is juicy.
Okay.
So air conditioning and heating or internet?
I would have to say air conditioned heating because my entire career is on the internet, and like if I gave that up, I would have no money. So.
Okay. So you're an internet child. Because I was doing these before
I
the
could
show.
just use data. Could I use data?
No.
Okay.
That's internet.
It's not even Wi-Fi. It's on the phone.
Golly. I'm from floppy disk era. Okay.
I once tried to open a floppy disk because I thought it was a CD.
Oh my god. I'm surprised you know what one is.
No, because Sam gave me a bag of stuff. There was one in it, and I was like, "Oh, I'll watch this movie." And I'm like, trying to rip it open for like an hour. Walking there, I'm like, "Open this for me." And she's like, "Jordan, this is a floppy disk." And I'm like, "I don't care what's on the DVD. I just want to watch
DVD. It doesn't even look like a DVD." Okay, think about Chris Porter on this one.
Okay.
Would you rather vomit on your hero or have your hero vomit on you?
I'd rather have him vomit on me because I'll be less embarrassed.
Okay.
I've already
Oh, it's okay.
I've embarrassed myself too much.
Okay. Would you rather be royalty from 1,000 years ago or be an average person today?
What country?
1,000 years. I don't know. Your choice. Royalty of whatever country you want.
What's 1,000 years ago? The 1900s? So that was like Queen Elizabeth. So I'd still be alive today? Queen Elizabeth. Wait, no.
Would you?
Okay, I'm graduating this year, but I'm not taking math.
1,000 years ago. 1,000 years ago,
royalty
you would be
because that
well, maybe not. I don't know.
Because that would be 1,000. That would be too. Oh my gosh.
Dude.
I would say royalty.
It's like that thing with the question marks.
I would say royalty from 1,000 years ago because that would be like
experience like posh life.
Yeah, but it's like who wants to be average? When you could be above average.
Wants to be average. Yeah.
Even if I had a phone.
So you are a singer, so this one applies too. Would you rather have a sing-off with Ariana Grande or a dance-off with Rihanna? She's a dancer too, you guys.
She is?
No, you are.
Oh, I thought you meant Rihanna.
She is.
She is. Oh, wait, she did an umbrella. Okay,
sing-off with Ariana Grande, whatever you say it, or a dance-off with Rihanna. Basically, which one would you want to meet?
Well, okay, so since it's an off, I feel like it's the one who I feel like I could compete against the most and beat the most.
Yeah.
So I feel like Ariana Grande would beat me in a singing competition. However, I've seen Rihanna dance.
You think you can? I
might.
All right, so you rather do dance on with Rihanna?
Yeah, because Rihanna's also funnier.
Okay, yes, she is. Okay, would you rather always have BO and not know it, or always smell BO on everyone else?
Always smell it on everyone else.
Really?
Embarrassing that was me.
To just not know you see. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good answer. I didn't think about that. Okay, here's the last one. Would you rather take amazing selfies but look terrible in all other photos, or be photogenic everywhere but in your selfies?
I'm gonna do photogenic everywhere but myself.
That was answered for you.
Done.
That was easy. Oh man, I gotta teach you how to take some selfies. That's my best photos. I know all my angles. Anyway, if you are watching this, thank you so much for being on my YouTube channel. If you are not watching this and you're just listening, head on over to my YouTube channel and subscribe, baby. What is you doing? Okay. Join the party over there. It's amazing to watch this as we discuss. She is my first guest, but I plan on having more guests, guys. And if you want me to talk about something specific, leave it in the comments. I would love to do an episode of your choosing. Thank you so much,
You're
Jordan.
welcome.
Remind them where they can find you.
The real Jordan Barker on all social media.
That is the TheRealJordanBarker.
I don't know how to spell it for a second.
I did it for you. And you can find me on all social media platforms as Lisa DeBose Barker. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.
That was incredible. Oh my gosh. Yes. I don't even think I have to edit anything. That was wonderful. Thank you so much.
I know I'm perfect.
You're a great interviewer.
I couldn't host a talk show, but I could be on talk shows.
I feel like the opposite. Huh?
No, I was saying good job.
Oh, you could hear it all? Okay, was it good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got close.
How's the baby?
She's fine.
Okay.
She's getting patty.
Okay.
Earlier, I saw Mom holding her up, looking at her, showing her through the window.
Oh, really? That was so fun. Oh my gosh. I'm Oprah now, guys. It's official. Oprah, I'm coming for you, girl.